Welcome to my fourth and final vlog from my recent visit to the UAE, where I headed to 4 theme parks for the very first time. Part 1 we headed to Motion Gate Dubai, Part 2 was Ferrari World, and Part 3 was Warner Brothers World. Those 3 vlogs are up on the channel. Big thank you to anyone who's watched so far, and if you haven't, go check them out. Right, Part 4, it's IMG Worlds of Adventure. Dinosaurs and superheroes, what more could you want? Good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's doing fantastic. And today we are at our 4th and final theme park of this trip. We are here at IMG Worlds. Oh my god, my eyes. I will remember you. Really looking forward to checking this place out. It looks absolutely massive building. So far, there's like 6 or 7 cars in the car park. Hoping it's going to be a very quiet one. It is a Sunday, so it's a weekend day, but it is still got about 15 minutes before opening. I know they've got a big old coaster back there, Velociraptor. We have seen it testing, so that's a good sign of it opening on time. So hopefully with these low crowds, we're going to get a straight walk on for this one. From what I've seen from this park, it looks like it's got a few lands. Got a dinosaur theme land, Velociraptor. Look, I think he's got a Gerslauer in there, a bit like Saw.
Get ready, everyone! It's time for Bobby to unnecessarily mention Universal Orlando in his vlogs again.
I know it's got a Marvel land. Let's see how it compares to another particular Marvel land that I know and love. It's got a Cartoon Network land. And yeah, I think there's only 3 coasters here, I think, and a few dark rides, maybe some flats, but it's all indoors. I think Velociraptor, the coaster, is the only one that goes outside at any point. So Warner Brothers World massively impressed me with its kind of all indoor look and feel about it. So let's go and see what IMG Worlds of Adventure's got.
Chill out at the coolest theme park in the world. Come for the rides, stay for the memories.
The coolest theme park in the world. I wonder if that means temperature or the actual theme park. We'll find out soon. Well, that was an awesome start to the day here, considering there was probably less than 100 people waiting to get in. They had all the cast come out, they had dancers, characters come out and did like an opening show. Really awesome, it was so loud. It was just a really good way to start the day. And then they started blasting a little bit of Katy Perry and some Sean Paul. It was so loud. I've said earlier in one of my other vlogs that it always seems quite quiet and without atmosphere. Well, this place has just blown that apart, because considering it's very empty at the minute, they created such a good atmosphere in there. Then you walk through the entrance area, and again the music's blaring. It looks like they've got some great shops, some restaurants, they had a popcorn factory, and then they had some beautiful lighting and flower effects. Anyway, we're making our way now into Lost Valley so we can go and check out Velociraptor and the other coasters. So let's go into Lost Valley. Alright, so we made our way now round to Velociraptor. Okay, so we have made our way around now to Velociraptor. This is what I think is the biggest coaster in the park. I know Predator looks quite big as well, but I think this has got to be the signature attraction here. From what I understand, I think this might be a clone of Blue Fire, but I'd need to check that. I haven't checked that because, as usual, research is not my strong point. I'm excited to check this out. Mac Rides sounded a little bit rattly when it went around testing, but we're going to find out. I think I'm going to be the only one on this ride. Well, that was really, really good. I was the only person in the entire queue on the ride. I had front row. The train was just waiting for me. The staff were just waiting for me. What an awesome experience that was. And it was a very good coaster. And I think this one might still just go behind Mission Ferrari, I think. But we're gonna have another ride now because there's literally no one here. I think there's just been a family of 5 walking. That's the first people I've seen other than me go into it. It's a really cool coaster. It kind of comes out of the station into sort of a dark ride section, little forest going on, and a bit of music starts playing, and then you come up against this massive screen where some dinosaurs start fighting. Suddenly you can see at the end of the launch, the door opens. The door opening lets the light in, which then means you can't really see the screen because the dinosaur's about to get you launch. And that launch is really snappy, like it's a proper smack your head back. The ride was perfectly smooth. There was a tiny bit of rattle, but it sounded a lot worse off-ride than it was on. It was not rough by any means. Loads of hang time, not much air time from what I remember, but I'm gonna go and try a back row now. And there is one roll on that is the closest I have felt to the Mosasaurus roll at Islands of Adventure. Absolutely come flying at your seat. Very, very good ride. And by the way, one of the things that I noticed, that queue is one of the worst queues I've ever seen in my life. There's a couple of trees around, but it is cattle pen after cattle pen after cattle pen. I absolutely dread to think what that would be like if it was on a busy day and that was full. Right then, it's time for a go on the other big coaster here at this park, and that is Predator. That is a really cool sign, that. This is a Gerstlauer, looks very similar to Saw, looks like a much smaller drop. We're obviously indoors, not quite hit the levels of Nickelodeon over in America, but looks like it's going to be good fun. These rides tend to be rough, so I don't know if I'm looking forward to it or not, but considering when we went to Nickelodeon Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was closed for the day, at least I'll get to experience one of these coaster types indoors. Yeah, I don't know whether to be excited or not. Let's go and check it out.
Here we go. I love the ceiling. I really want the ceiling for my house. Oh crap.
Okay, so just come off of Predator. That was a good coaster actually, not rough at all by any means. I think there's one little moment where it kind of jolts to the right, but other than that, very, very smooth. It's very short, but because it's in the darkness, you can't really see where you're going. It kind of adds to the thrill because you're whipping to the left and to the right. Makes it quite like nerve-wracking wondering where you're going to go. The trains are really cool. I like the way they're designed. And going vertical indoors like this is such a weird experience because you're just facing this ceiling and it just feels like, well, it is getting closer and closer to you and you're a little bit like, okay, we're going to drop now. But no, it's a good coaster. It's not a great coaster and they do a lot with the space they are given. Very, very enjoyable. We're now going to make our way through into Marvel. I'm excited to see this land, I really am. Right, so first impressions of this Marvel land, really cool. I love the way that, you know, same as Warner Brothers, they built this kind of city. All of the buildings are recognisable. You've got Avengers Tower, you've got an Avengers Quinjet flat ride over there. Just looks really cool. It's kind of that cartoony building vibe. I wish they could do the ceilings much like they do at Warner Brothers. It's a strange building top actually. Kind of looks like this weavy thing, you know, like when you get in your garden furniture. Reminds me of that. But yeah, anyway, up first we've come to is Marvel Avengers Battle of Ultron, and I think this might be like a dark ride simulator. I'm hoping it's going to be much like Spider-Man, of course I am. So let's go and see what it's all about. Wow. Avengers Battle of Ultron was another world-class dark ride, and I'm sure you know why I'm calling it world-class, because it reminded me of Spider-Man at Islands of Adventure. It is very similar. You board vehicles, you get seat belts rather than lap bars, and you go through massive practical sets, like massive destroyed cities, there's broken cars, and then of course most of the action is happening on screens, and the screen is like, they're really good. It was a weird effect. It was almost like Pepper's Ghost. It felt like there was layers to it. It didn't look like you were just looking at like a TV screen or something. There was definitely a weird feel about it, and it worked. It kind of added to the 3D effect. You were wearing 3D glasses as well. So I thought the screens were really good, and there's a lot of action. You know, Ultron is obviously trying to have a bit of a tear up with you and the Avengers, and you in your Quinjet or jet, whatever it was that you were in, were obviously trying to save the world. But it was really good. Like the movement of the vehicles was great, the audio was great in there, there was onboard audio, obviously stuff that was happening around you as well. And one of the effects I really liked is you kind of moved out of a scene and you're moving into another one, and I couldn't tell whether it was a screen or not because it was all like building windows, and there was your reflection of the jet that you were in came up, and then suddenly Ultron smashes through it, and it was like, oh, it is a screen. Like, it was a really, really good effect. That's a brilliant dark ride, and for me, I'm sure it comes as a shock to nobody. I could have a whole theme park with rides like that. They are my favourite types of rides in the world. Definitely be getting multiple rides because, as you can see, there is just nobody here at the minute. Right, now it's time to go and ride the final coaster in this park. It's Spidermans Dog Revenge. It looks like a spinning coaster. It's really cool the way it comes out onto the street like this. Adds definitely a bit of movement around here. Let's go check it out. It looks like a family thrill ride, so I'm not sure what to expect with this one, but I'm excited for it. So I'm walking through the queue on my own, and can you just hear how silent it is? It's nicely themed in here. Another cattle pen, sure no one's shocked. Really nicely themed, but they do need some kind of audio going on in here. It is eerily quiet. It's almost as if I'm not supposed to be here. Come on, add some like queue audio, especially for all these cattle pens. Make it entertaining. It's definitely something about these indoor parks. I think you have to create, you know, they do a great job setting atmosphere with lighting and so on, but they haven't seemed to nail it with the audio at the minute. Especially days like this when there's just no one here. You could definitely do with just creating a bit more atmosphere with the audio. That was surprisingly brilliant and quite intense. Like, I don't know why, but I would still classify it as a family thrill ride, but it was a lot more intense on the spinning than I thought it was going to be. It's a really nicely themed station. You leave that and you go up this lift hill, and the audio is fantastic. Like, you can hear Doc Ock talking to you all the way up, green sort of stroby lights going on. Reminds me a lot of the Incredible Hulk lift hill right before you launch up. And from there you come round, and this outside bit is great fun. It's always good to see over land, and I was like, yeah, this is what I thought it was going to be. And then once it goes back there, it kind of goes into this big city. It's really cool. It's like cardboard cutouts of Spider-Man and other characters, and you're whipping in and out of the city, and it was more intense than I thought it was going to be. I was backwards for a lot of it, and you're kind of going around these helixes. And it's quite forceful, way more forceful than I thought it was going to be. You know, I was expecting a Storm Chaser. Yeah, you can get quite a good spin on Storm Chaser every now and then, and yeah, it surprised me. I was actually like gripped onto my restraints at one point, and it definitely got me. I would say by far and away, Velociraptor is the best coaster here. I would honestly have that over Predator, but that's obvious. It's got theming, it's got like a show scene as you're going up the lift hill. Predator is obviously the more intense, but that for me is the second best coaster here. Really good fun. Oh my God. I don't understand how people enjoy those things. Fair play to you, but that is my worst nightmare. There was a little kid watching her dad on that. She just started crying her eyes out, and I felt like crying my eyes out. I don't even know anyone on it. God knows what it'd be like to ride, but it looks fantastic off-ride. I'll never know what it's like on-ride. This area definitely feels very Marvel Superhero Islandy. It's really cool with like the 2D cutout effects and neon lights everywhere. It's got that feeling. Makes me feel warm inside. Up next we have got Hulk Epsilon Base 3D. Now I'll just show a little bit of a video there. It looks like it's sitting in some sort of round vehicle, and it looks like it's going to spin, bump, and it's surrounded by screens. It looks a little bit vomit worthy, but we're going to give it a go. I'll let you know what it's like afterwards. I can't say I'm excited about this one. We shall see. Okay, so just come off of Hulk Epsilon 3D. That was unlike anything I've done before. It's a bit of a painful sort of load process because it's like this big sort of round platformy thing. So it takes a while to get everyone to get in, to do their seat belts, to do all the checks and so on. And you're kind of in this big dome area. The seat is one of the most comfortable seats that I've ever sat on in my life. I could do one of them at home. And once it gets started, it's just this kind of big platform that tilts, spins. If you move around, there's so much going on. The quality of the projection on the dome was brilliant. It was really good actually. Like, one for motion sickness, I don't think you'll like it. Like, it was probably about 5-6 minute attraction, and then I was starting to get a little bit, I'm done now. It does get quite spinny at one point as well. But it's really well done, and if you're not facing the action, they drop down on the projection like what's happening around you, the Hulk's fighting whoever. Really unusual. I've not done anything like that before. So we just stopped for some lunch. There are plenty of places to eat here. There's quite a variety actually. Down the front you've got some actual sit-down restaurants, and around the park you've got plenty of options. There's some themed carts selling hot dogs, popcorn. We decided to just go with a burger. I got a chicken burger, chips and a drink, and that came to about £12.50-ish. So whilst not cheap, it's kind of typical for theme park food. And taste-wise, it was also very much theme park food. It was alright, it was nothing outrageous. I did, however, get some tomato sauce down my top. It will serve me right for wearing white, but never mind. Come to check out the Forbidden Territory. I don't know anything about this ride. All I know is I believe it's some kind of safari jeep ride from what I've asked the staff member. So, it looks interesting. Another brilliant sign here out the front. Really, really cool. Well, that was another excellent dark ride here. Very, very similar kind of ride vehicles to the Time Rovers on Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. The movement was actually really, really good on it. It kind of could turn the way that you were facing. There was loads of animatronic dinosaurs in there. Beautiful sets. There was some screens in there. The screens weren't the best quality. And some of the big fight scenes were obviously all on screen. Nowhere near as violent as Dinosaur. It's definitely a more peaceful one, more smooth movements. But no, it was really good. And again, onboard audio, a story as you're going around. The dark ride quality I have found in this country so far has been excellent. Right, well, I said I wanted more atmosphere in this park, and we walk into the Cartoon Network land, and there's a DJ set going on. There was nobody dancing to it, but it was going off in here. Anyway, so we walked in, had a little look around. Looks nice, looks very colourful as you'd expect, very cartoony. Again, what you'd expect. Doesn't feel like as immersive as the other lands, but it's nice, it's cool. Anyway, the first ride we're going to go on in this land is Adventure Time, the Ride of Ooh with Finn and Jake, which is this ride that you can see that's kind of going suspended over the land. It looks fun. I've never seen Adventure Time, I don't know if that's shocking or not, but let's see what it's all about. Okay, that was the worst ride we have done today by some stretch. It's cool the way it's suspended above the land. There's some cool on-ride audio that kind of pretends like they're talking about people walking down below, which is really good. But that's the most I can say about it. It's the little dark ride sections are so void of anything. There's some big spaces, and there's like these puppet animatronics. And the weird thing is like all of the, like the hydraulics or the electrical boxes or whatever are just on the floor. next to the character. I've never seen it so out in the open before. You know, maybe there's some limits as to how much they could do, given that the fact that it's up high. I don't know, I could be talking absolute nonsense, but it was weird. I didn't know what was going on, albeit I had no idea about Avenger Time. See, now Powerpuff Girls I did watch and it was quality. However, that flat ride is a hard pass for me. So yeah, I'm just going to walk past politely at that one.
Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye.
Okay, so we have now come out of IMG Worlds of Adventure. There wasn't too much to show in Cartoon Network in terms of rides. Everything in that land, while still looks quite cool, there really isn't anything in that land ride-wise that is on the level of the rest. It definitely feels like the weakest land in that park. It definitely feels like the lowest budget stuff. IMG Worlds of Adventure, it's a really cool place. I think it needs some more. Like, I think Motion Gate and Ferrari World and Warner Brothers all offer a little bit more. I think especially when it's quiet like that, and this was a Sunday, you can get it all done in, if you really wanted to, a couple of hours. And so that does it for this trip, this 4-part series. I realise I haven't put my final rankings of the coasters on this trip, so I'm going to put them here. Notice how I didn't say them. That is because I know that Future Bobby is probably going to think about it a little bit more. So Future Bobby can make that decision. Just want to say huge thank you if you watched all 4 parts, whether you've just watched one part here and there. It means the world to me. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to subscribe, you can press that button. If you already subscribed, you're amazing, and if you wouldn't mind commenting, liking, and all that lovely stuff. The theme parks in this country have massively gone over my expectation. The coasters, whilst I don't think there's going to be a coaster that I've done on this trip that's going to attack the top 10 or anything like that, most of them have been really great enjoyment. The dark rides have absolutely blown my mind on this trip. I was not expecting the level of dark rides that we got. It's fantastic. Warner Brothers by far was, I think, my favourite park that we visited. It's just a bit of me with all the dark rides and so on. It was fantastic. But that's going to do it. We're going to travel home tomorrow, so we're going to enjoy a little bit more of our time. But thank you so much for watching, and